nations that receive a lot of their gas, because you have the Russians and the Iranians working together to corner the natural gas market and controlling world gas price, natural gas prices. So Russia's not going to help with any sanctions. China gets a lot of oil. I'll just say it straight out. China gets a lot of oil and a lot of natural gas from Iran. China is a growing society. Their hunger of energy is increasing day by day. Their consumption of energy is increasing day by day, because their lifestyles are becoming more and more, well, some of the people in China's lifestyle are becoming more and more moderate. People are buying cars over there. They're using a lot of gasoline over there. So they need natural gas. People are buying homes. They're building skyscrapers and factories, all the things in China. You know, China is the, so-called, the economic boom in the world right now. So they have a lot of things going on in China right now, and they need a lot of power. China's not going to do anything to cut its own throat, and neither is Russia. This is why China and Russia will never sign on to any Security Council, any kind of UN Security Council resolutions that would actually have some kind of teeth. And to be quite honest right now, I think that we're at the point right now where we're beyond the United Nations Security Council and the resolutions. I think that we may be, I'm not going to say for sure, but if we're not there now, we are quickly approaching the point where even sanctions against refined petroleum products going into Iran, even that may not be enough at this point to stop Iran, because they're going to get it. Iran is going to get it, and the fact of the matter is that Iran is ruled by tyrants. Tyrants do not care about making their people suffer in order to achieve their aims. If Iran has to suffer under sanctions, just like Saddam Hussein suffered under sanctions for decades, if Iran has to suffer under sanctions, it's not the ruling powers of Iran that are going to suffer. It's the people in Iran that are really going to suffer from these sanctions. They're the ones that are going to suffer from the lack of gas, because Iran does have some refining capacity in the country, and that refining capacity would simply just be used for the elites, and the people would suffer. So I'm not quite sure if even that will work at this point. Anything short of a naval blockade down the Straits of Hormuz, just to assure that the oil that the other hungry markets throughout the world needs continues to flow if something jumps off in Iran. Besides that, and an airstrike, and a surgical airstrike, a joint airstrike with the United States and Israel, there's nothing short of that, in my opinion. From the things that I've read, and I have read the new outline for the Iran resolution that they're discussing right now in the Security Council. It is a useless document. It has no teeth in it. It almost reads as if the country's participation in it is voluntary. The permanent 5 members of the Security Council, and I'm assuming Germany is in on this too, the P5+1. It appears that their signing on to this resolution is almost is voluntary. I read it this morning. The Washington Post actually had a copy of it. It's probably still there if any of you guys wanted to take a look and see what's in it. But to be quite frank, there's really nothing in it. It's weak sanctionings, and and it's funny because in a resolution that's supposed to be, we're supposed to be at this point a critical mass. This is what we're hearing in the media. This is what we're hearing from the Obama administration. We're in critical mass. Every day, Iran is getting closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to acquiring a nuclear weapon. The methods, the smart power diplomacy that we have been using has not been working. It has produced no results. Iran has actually bolstered its production of plutonium, of nuclear material. It's bolstered, and it said it was going to raise it again by 20%. And so Iran is essentially thumbing their nose at the United States and the international community because of the reasons that I named earlier. They don't care. This is a religious, ideological mission that they're not going to stop. They will not stop until they complete their goal or until someone kills them. I mean, essentially, until they're dead. But like I said, the resolution in a resolution that is supposed to be cracking down on Iran, it is still if you scroll down through some of the paragraphs, it still talks about engagement and how the United States and the world community is open to dialogue with Iran, and we're continuing it. This is disgusting that an American president, America being a permanent member of the UN Security Council, and we have an American president and the Secretary of State that are so weak. I can't say, I was trying to find a word. I can't. They're weak. They're absolutely weak. He is the Neville Chamberlain of our time. Peace in our time. He has brought us peace in our time with Iran. We are dealing with a genocidal madman who has repeatedly, on camera, off camera, audio, in newspapers, called for the destruction of the Jewish state. And our officials sit by and play patty cake with each other. It almost makes you feel like they're doing this on purpose. Does it not? Do you not feel that? The incompetence, I mean, in foreign policy dealing with Iran, but even on the economy, and I'm kind of off subject, but even on the U.S. economy, doesn't it kind of feel like they're doing this on purpose? No one can be this stupid. You spend $1 trillion on a stimulus plan that you said would keep unemployment at 8%. Unemployment jumped to double digits. It's near double digits right now. Your own administration says that high levels of sustained unemployment, we could expect high levels of sustained unemployment for the foreseeable future, even after you spent $1 trillion in so-called stimulus that stimulated nothing. It almost wonders, it makes you wonder, are they doing it on purpose? With the health care bill, you had Social Security and Medicare actuaries coming out saying that this thing was not going to do what the administration said it was going to do. We had Paul Ryan going toe-to-toe with the President of the United States, live on television, in the so-called bipartisan summit, healthcare summit, breaking down figures, exposing the smoke and mirrors of the healthcare bill and how, they were essentially robbing Peter to pay Paul in the healthcare bill. Double counting funds and just skewing numbers, and then they could get on television, the president can get on television, and members of his party could get on television and tell the American people with a straight face that, that this thing was going to be, that the Republicans were lying, the opposition were lying, the Tea Partiers are crazy. And then, of course, now we're finding out that it's all true. I mean, the health care bill hasn't even been past 6 months, and we've already had reports come out a few weeks ago, recently, saying that an additional, the health care, the Obamacare is going to cost them now an additional $115 billion more than what they said it would cost. Now, of course, we know it's going to cost 3, 4, 5 times as much as they say it's actually going to cost. But things like this, it's incompetence. The cap and trade legislation going through. During the 2008 presidential campaign, the president, then Senator Obama, said of his cap and trade plan that under his plan, energy rates, meaning your energy bills, consumer energy prices, would skyrocket. He said this. It's on tape. It's on YouTube. Google it. I'm sure you could find it. Under his cap and trade plan, under his energy plan, which is cap and trade, energy costs in America would skyrocket. Why would you do that? Why would you want energy costs in America to skyrocket? Now, I know, of course, we're going to have the people with the green, he's trying to create a green economy and things like that. Let's be honest about the green technology. The green technology, the biofuels, biomass, things like that. Those type of technologies, as far as being used in automobiles and in planes and in the things that we use to get